What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for week 2 of Picks with Pete. We did not have a great week last week. Went 5-11. Pretty tough, I know.
That's terrible.
But learned a lot from week 1. Took a lot of home dogs, but no fans in the crowd. Weird pandemic year. Teams were pretty sloppy with no preseason, and it meant a lot. But I think we got a lot of good information. I'm going to try and put these videos out on Friday because we lost a few games because of additional information we could have had. But that's in the past now. We're here to get picks right this week. Let's start off with Jags at the Titans. Titans come off with a whirlwind win Monday night at the Broncos, missing 4 kicks, 3 field goals, and an extra point. But then Steven Gostkowski hits the game winner to redeem himself. While the Jags, on the other hand, come off a huge upset win that we picked right here on this pod last week against the Colts, getting all those points, straight out winners. I think the Jags are going to have a little bit of a letdown this week. I like the Titans minus 7.5 at home this week. I think they take care of business. They pound the rock. Jacksonville does not have a good running defense at all. I think the Titans win comfortably. Game 2. Giants at the Bears. Giants looked absolutely horrendous against the Steelers up front. Saquon Barkley ran for 6 yards. That is embarrassingly bad for the New York Giants. And the task doesn't get much easier. Chicago Bears front line is pretty stout up top. And they came back with 21 unanswered against the Lions in the fourth quarter last week. Big time comeback. Trubisky looked pretty decent back there. So I think they're going to ride this momentum. Give me the Bears, minus 5.5. I think it's a safe take. I'm not sure what the Giants are going to look like up front. A lot of mistakes from rookie head coach Joe Judge, and I think that's the difference for this one. Okay, Falcons at the Cowboys. Falcons got beat pretty good by the Seahawks at home to open the season. Wasn't very optimistic for their defense. Matt Ryan and the offense looked good. Matt Ryan threw for 450 yards. Julio and Calvin Ridley both had a day, receiving well over 100 yards. And the Cowboys, not a good Sunday night performance against the Rams. Really struggled for the offense to score some points. Maybe the Rams are a lot better than people think they are. I think they're pretty good. But the physicalness up front from the Rams really dominated the Cowboys. But I do like the Cowboys to bounce back. They're going to score some points. That Atlanta defense can't stop anybody. There's way too many weapons up front for the Cowboys. The one positive thing was Zeke ran the ball really, really well. And I think that's going to help things out as the season moves on. Dak and the offense will get into the passing game. But I like the Cowboys here, minus 4.5 at home. Get back on the winning track. Okay, Broncos at the Steelers. Both teams played Monday night, so short week for both teams. Big number here. I'm betting the number more than the teams. I liked what I saw out of Drew Lock. Suspect coaching from Vic Fangio let that game get away from them Monday night in the fourth quarter. But the Broncos seem to be in every game late in the game. So that's why I like this number. Broncos plus 7.5. I think this is a good take right here. It's going to be a close game. They'll probably blow another fourth quarter lead. Pittsburgh did lose James Conner, but Benny Snell picked up the load where he let out, and they were really running the ball pretty well. Ben Roethlisberger looked good throwing the ball to Juju. The defense was very stout, but like I said, this is a big number. I think the Steelers win this game, but it's going to be a little close, maybe just a touchdown. Okay, Vikings at the Colts. Vikings got absolutely embarrassed by Aaron Rodgers last week. Just shredded up on defense for 43 points, most in the Mike Zimmer era in Minnesota. It was rough. They couldn't get any pressure. They couldn't really cover. The offense was optimistic, though. Dalvin Cook only had 12 carries for 50 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but that's pretty good runs. Over 4 yards a carry for Dalvin. That's pretty good. Thielen had 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns. So the offense was okay. They were just really behind the gun because they didn't have the ball. I like them to bounce back this week, getting 3 points on the road. The Colts did come off a bad loss at the Jags, but Phillip Rivers really showed his age right there. Father Time looks like they caught up to him. They did lose Marlon Mack for this season with a torn Achilles at running back, so Jonathan Taylor, the rookie running back, is going to be getting the load. And I think Phillip Rivers' old age, lack of mobility is going to hurt. The Vikings going to look to get some pressure, force some turnovers, and I like the Vikings to bounce back after getting embarrassed last week, getting 3 points on the road. Okay, Panthers at the Buccaneers. It was not an ideal start for Tampa Tom. Buccaneers kind of got shellacked a little bit by the Saints. They were in the game for most of it, but kind of got out of hand late. You know, Tom threw 2 bad interceptions, one not necessarily completely his fault, but threw a bad pick six. That's 3 straight games with a pick six for Tom Brady. Not a good sign, and for those who are questioning his age, if he can still do it. But I think they bounce back this week. It's a big number, 8.5, but I think they're ready to play. The defense actually looked pretty good for Tampa Bay, and I think they'll do a good job shutting down Carolina. Carolina did lose at home against Vegas. Matt Rule, again, young head coach, didn't look super comfortable calling some plays in big situations with Joe Brady. I don't know what was going on there. Questionable 4th down call to lose that game. But Carolina, not a great defense. I expect Tom to tear him up. I am a little hesitant, though, because Chris Godwin is still in concussion protocol. But I really think this is a huge game for the Buccaneers that they need to bounce back on, and I expect them to win pretty decently. Give them 14 to 17 point win. So I like the Buccaneers here, -8.5. All right, Bills at the Dolphins. Now, the Bills were a little rocky there in the second half against the Jets, but ended up taking care of business after a real strong start. The Dolphins, Fitzmagic and them, kind of got beat up by the Panthers or the Patriots up front a little bit, but they made it close. Fitzpatrick, though, had his patented bad turnovers. This number is 6. It opened up at 3.5 for the Bills. It's now -6 for the Bills. Kind of hesitant on this one. I think I'm going to take the Bills. I wouldn't be surprised here if Miami takes it, but I think the Bills win this game by a touchdown. It's going to be close, though. Miami could play really well. I do like what Brian Flores is doing down there in Miami, but I think the Bills might be on a mission here. That defense is going to be tough up front for Miami to deal with. Not necessarily the best weapons. Devontae Parker's a little banged up, and Fitzpatrick's been known to turn the ball over, and you really can't turn the ball over against this Buffalo Bills team. So I'm going to take the Bills -6 here, but I'm not super confident on this one. All right, Niners at the Jets. Now, this is a game I feel really confident about. The Niners got completely shocked by the Cardinals. Another game we got right on the upset alert train. And the Jets did not look great against the Bills. Now, I know the Niners flying from the west to east, and the numbers aren't great from teams going west to east, but no fans. We're in a pandemic. Who knows what they're going to look like? I really expect the Niners to bounce back. The Jets have me lining up at wide receiver this week. They're completely banged up. Le'Veon Bell's on the IR. The offensive line is sus. Sam Darnold's running for his life back there as usual. The defense was better in the second half against Buffalo, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to stop this monster backfield of San Francisco. Looking for Jimmy Garoppolo to look better than he did last week. I'm hoping it was just a little bit of rust, a little bit of Super Bowl hangover with no preseason. But the Niners -7 here is my pick. I think they bounce back in a big way because I think the Jets are the worst team in football, especially with the cast of characters they have out there. Okay, Rams at the Eagles. Now, I've been back and forth on this game constantly. The Eagles blew a 17-0 lead to the football team of Washington, and they lost. They lost by 10. It wasn't even close. It was a 27-0 swing of points in that game in the second half, and that's really suspect. They gave up 8 sacks. They couldn't block. Now, the offensive line is going to be a little bit better this week with Jason Peters coming back, but still pretty banged up front. Miles Sanders also coming back in the backfield. I think he's a huge cog in that offense. And I don't know, Wentz just... when he's bad, he's really bad. And when he's good, he's really good. And he was really, really bad last week. Games in Philly, the Rams looked pretty good on Sunday night against the Cowboys. I think a lot better than most people suspected. I like the Rams, like I said. One of the few games I got right last week. I've been back and forth. I think I'm going to take the Rams getting a point right here. They're going to power run the ball to the outsides. And the Eagles defense is going to really struggle to cover these quick speed stretches to Robert Woods, quick out routes, quick slants, stuff like that. The secondary is not great in Philadelphia. I think there's just going to be too much movement, too much speed for the Eagles defense to keep up with. Now, like I said, I've been back and forth, but I think the Rams win this game. I'd be a little surprised if they get blown out here. But again, Rams +1. I like it. Don't love it. It's going to be a close game. Okay, Lions at the Packers. Oh boy, life of a Lions fan is just real tough. Had a 23-6 lead in the fourth quarter, like I said, against the Bears, and let it slip away completely. But then almost brought it back. DeAndre Swift, their stud rookie running back that they drafted, was going to be a guy. Dropped the game-winning touchdown pass in the end zone. Real tough start for the Lions, and the Lions, it's like death taxes the Lions, man. Oh, God, it's really tough to be a Lions fan, I can imagine. So I think they're a little demoralized. Matt Patricia is 9-23-1 since taking over the head coaching job after they fired Jim Caldwell, who was 9-7. So I don't get that one. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers look great against the Vikings. Now, is that all the Packers? Is that all the Vikings bad? I think it's a little bit of both. Aaron Rodgers is super motivated with Jordan Love being drafted. Davante Adams looks uncoverable out there. Really good. Now, the other cast of characters he's thrown to, Alan Lazard, Scantling, not great. Not great catching the ball. Sternberger really struggled to get open against Minnesota. The run game was kind of so-so. But I think the Lions are, I don't know. I like the Packers here to blow them out. Getting 6.5. I think the Packers win by a couple touchdowns here. Okay, now for the 4 o'clock games. We're going out to the desert where the football team of Washington, the Washington football team, after the upset comeback win against the Eagles, take on Mighty Mouse, Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals. We liked the Cardinals last week. I didn't like the Redskins, but after watching, I kind of like the Redskins. I think this front seven is going to really make life difficult for little Kyler Murray to move around. They're fast up front. They're going to be able to contain him. The short passing game isn't going to be as effective as it was last week. DeAndre Hopkins went for 14 catches, a career high, and tore up San Francisco. So good to see him working in that offense. I kind of thought he would, but he's got a home there. I think this is a close game, though. Cardinals are flying high. The Redskins are flying high. +7 for the Redskins. Take the Redskins. I think it's a close game. I think the Cardinals win this game by 3 or 4. I think they come back a little bit. They're a young team. They're going to learn. And I think Ron Rivera is going to have his Washington group a little bit more focused than Kingsbury's Cardinals group. So Cardinals win. Washington makes it close. I like +7 for the Washington football team right here. Okay, one of my favorite bets of the week. Baltimore Ravens absolutely obliterated the Cleveland Browns last week. And Cleveland looked pretty decent last night. The offense was a lot better, running the ball. Baker stayed within himself on the short passing game, taking shots here and there. And, man, Houston looked bad against Kansas City week 1. Now, I picked Houston, and I might be a little bit bitter, but Bill Bryan looks clueless out there running the offense. Deshaun Watson's running for his life behind a bad offensive line. Will Fuller is in. I don't know if he's a lead guy. He had an okay game. Duke Johnson was probably the only bright spot for Houston. I love the Ravens here, -7. I think the Ravens are on a mission. They're going to be tearing things up. I think they beat up that weakened Houston secondary offense, and I think it's just going to be too much for Deshaun to deal with. I like the Ravens -7 here. Okay, Chiefs at the Chargers. Another one of my favorite games right here. I love the Chiefs getting -8.5. They were flat out dominant against the Texans. That offense is so dominant. With the addition of CHE, we got the Clyde Frog monster in the backfield. Clyde Frog! It's dominant right there. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They're elite at every position on the offensive skill set. The defense is opportunistic. They play fast. They play hard. They force turnovers. The Honey Badger is roaming around back there. They get to the quarterback. I like it. And the Chargers could only muster 16 points at the Bengals last week, whose defense is atrocious that Cleveland just tore up last night. So I think the Chargers offense is not any good with Tyrod Taylor. They just lost their center, Mike Pouncey. That's a huge loss for them up front, too. I expect the Chiefs to cruise here. I know it's a divisional game, but Chiefs, a far superior team. I'll swallow the points, -8.5, and I like the Chiefs. Okay, Sunday night game. Very interesting game. Super Cam in New England. Started off to a good experience. Cam looked fresh, renewed, vitalized, ran for 75 yards, a Patriots record for quarterbacks. They took care of business against the Dolphins. And Russell Wilson, that's a bad man. Probably the most underrated player somehow in the NFL. Threw for 4 touchdowns, was an absolute monster against Atlanta, carved them up. I loved what Seattle did on offense, opening things up more for Russell, throwing to the running backs, throwing to Metcalf deep. It opened everything up. You let Russell be Russell. Russell is absolutely great. I think this is huge for Seattle. Long trip for New England going from east to west. Sunday night game. It's in Seattle. No fans. Going to be a big thing, though, because Seattle loves that home field environment. But -4 for Seattle, I'll take it. I think the Seahawks win this game. I'm not surprised if New England is in it, but I think long trip, kind of a running, slow, low-scoring game. Seattle wins this game by 10, I think. But don't be surprised if New England's in this game and maybe gets a W. All right, and the last game of the week, we got the New Orleans Saints opening up the stadium at Las Vegas. Michael Thomas is out for the Saints, they're expecting, so that's kind of a big loss. But Vegas is coming off a nice win at the Panthers. I think they're going to struggle this week. They seem to be a team that lets down. Saints defense looked great against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. They're going to be a handful to deal up front with the Raiders. And the Raiders have the 28th ranked pass defense last week against a pretty average core of wide receivers in Carolina and Teddy Bridgewater throwing the ball. So I expect Drew Brees to be surgical. He's going to go to Emmanuel Sanders. They're going to throw to Kamara out of the backfield. They're going to slice and dice. Maybe some Taysom Hill out there, change things up. I expect the Saints to get the 5.5 right here. Probably win this game by 10. I could see Oakland maybe winning this game. I don't know. We are still early in the season, but I feel much more comfortable with the Saints right here in this spot. All right, that's our picks for the week. I hope everyone maybe bets a little money, maybe hold off a week to see if I'm actually onto something here on my picks. But I appreciate it. Again, we'll be back next week. You can check out all my picks on the Action Network to follow along during the games in the links below. Check out our Twitter handle at /AfterTheReviewPT, and then check out Twitch if you want to see gaming content. We play Madden, we play Call of Duty, we play all that stuff. But again, we'll see you all next week.